Little Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White. When you think of these characters, you may think of innocence, purity, maybe a little bit of naivete. But what if I told you there was a world where characters like these weren't always so pure, weren't always so innocent, and most definitely weren't always so naive? Imagine if these girls were in a field, running around, enjoying themselves, minding their own business, and just overall having a great day. And out of nowhere, this dude decided to just run up on them and run their pockets for their spare change. Normally, anyone on the receiving end of the situation would probably be scared and acquiesce to the robber's demands. You wouldn't be wrong. But what if I told you that instead of submitting, instead of them being the victims, they hit this man with an Uno reverse card, jumped him, and f***ed his shit up?
Prepare for your greatest moments. Prepare for your finest hour.
This is RWBY. It's a 3D animated web series created in 2013 by the late Monty Oum. It centers around these four girls and their journey from adolescence to adulthood while navigating the challenging world they live in. Our first girl, RWBY, yes, RWBY, not Ruby, is our energetic, optimistic, bubbly main character based off of the fairy tale Little Red Riding Hood. So imagine Little Red is walking through a forest on her way to meet up with her grandma for a nice granny-granddaughter day. And then out of nowhere, a dusty-ass wolf jumps out of the bushes. He says something like,
"Hey, bitch, give me your cookies."
And Little Red is like,
Oh no, I don't want to give you my cookies. No.
but instead of cowering in fear, maybe running behind a tree and hiding or something, she reaches into her back pocket, pulls out her trusty sight, and shoots the wolf in the f***ing face. That's the kind of show we're talking about. Our next character, Weiss, is based off of Snow White. She's the regal, aristocratic, elegant, rich member of the party. Because there's always at least one of those. Just like how there's always someone a bit more mysterious. That would be Blake, inspired by Beauty and the Beast. She's introverted, quiet, reclusive, and not too quick to open up to others. Last but not least is our Goldilocks, Yang. She's the extroverted, feisty, quick-tempered, and quick to punch you in the face member of our group. So that sets the stage for our main characters of the story. And while we're on the subject of setting stages, let's talk about the world they live in. This world is called Remnant. It's basically an amalgamation of different fairy tale or fictional characters interacting with each other and just living their lives. For example, one person might be inspired by Thor, while another might be based off of Peter Pan. If it's fictional, there's a good chance they live somewhere in this world. If you haven't met them yet, you'll likely meet them in some way, shape, or form in the future. Honestly, one of the fun parts of this show is meeting new characters and trying to figure out what their fairy tale inspiration is. You can usually tell by their character design or even their names. For example, Blake's last name is Belladonna, with the Belle portion of her name being a reference to Belle from her fairy tale. Weiss's last name is Schnee, with her full name translating to white snow in German, referencing her Snow White inspiration. While we're on the subject of names, you may or may not have noticed there's a common trend with the names in this universe. That being, many of the names are either directly or indirectly related to a color. For example, RWBY being red and Weiss being white. This isn't a coincidence. There's in-lore reason why this is a thing, and it doesn't only apply to the main characters. So we've discussed characters, we've discussed the world. Now let's talk about what the show's main draw is and what drew me into the show many, many years ago. And that is the weapons and combat sequences. When it comes to 3D animated combat, this show takes the cake easy. The choreography in the show is top tier, muy bueno, mwah, chef's kiss. Just look at the transition. Look at the limb placement. Look at the fluidity. Not only is the action in RWBY A1, but the weapons. Man, let me tell you about the weapons. Rule number 1, no matter what the weapon is, no matter what, it is also a gun. Doesn't matter. If it's a scythe, it's a gun. If it's a hammer, it's a gun. Even if it's a gun, it's probably also a gun, just a bigger gun, like a bazooka or something. It even got to the point where the term, "it's a gun," became a meme in the RWBY community. I mean, just look at this. Notice how RWBY doesn't only just fire her rifle. She also uses the recoil to gain momentum when she closes in on an enemy. And this is just one example. This is why I started watching the show. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want to make this a review of RWBY. I just got caught up with the most recent volume and it was on my mind, so I wanted to make a video on it. In my opinion, the show is pretty slept on, but if you like fast-paced action, diverse characters with unique designs, and a pretty decent plot, to be honest, give it a shot. I also recommend watching the trailers first if you decide to watch it. There are 4 in total, and each one gives you a little backstory about the characters. So with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.